Okay, well, I wanted action, right? I was looking for something light, something fun, and I came across The Island. You know what I mean? This is the new film from, well, I'd say the latest, because it came out last year, from Shaun Paul Piccinino, written by Michael Caissie and Philippe Martinez. The film is produced by Philippe Martinez. It's executive produced by Lee Beasley, Corinne Abia, Alistair Burlingham, Danny Chan, Charlie Dumbeck, JT Fox, Jacob Katzman, and Gary Raskin. It is associate produced by Megan Brown Martinez, Lisa Gabrielle, and line produced by Lee Scott. Michael Richard Plowman took care of the music, while Brad Rushing was on cinematography. Betsy C. Thompson edits the piece, while Fares Paris is on costume design. Hair and makeup, we have Nicole Ritchie, Leora Osunzin, Caroline Murray, and Christina Bowles. Our cast, right? Who was in it? Well, Mark is played by Michael J. White, right? His brother, Akeem, is played by Tristan Duncan. His ex-wife, Akila, is played by Gillian White, right? He's Mark's detective partner, Phil, is played by Jackson Rathbone. And then there's Manuel, the bad guy. He is played by Eduardo Costa, right? We have got Yvonne, played by Esther Brooks. There's Vivian, played by Corby Senetia. We've got the priest, played by Winston Crook. There is Carl, played by Troy Miller. Dion, played by Brian Pemberton. Wayland, played by Wayne Gordon. Who else? Josie, played by Jose, probably Gabrielle Rodriguez. Oh, Nora. God damn, can't forget Nora. She's pivotal to the plot. She is played by Cami Storm. Yeah, that's probably our main group of people, I think. Right? The gist is this: when his brother is killed, LAPD officer Mark leaves the city to return to the island he grew up on. Seeking answers and ultimately vengeance, he soon finds himself in a bloody battle with the corrupt tycoon who's taken over the island. Ooh, ooh, right? Oh boy, this film, yeah, it's kind of funny, right? Like, we open up and we've got this Cammy, right? Well, Nora, right? She's singing, right? Singing a little Latin music um for this guy, Manuel. And you can, obviously looking at the scene, you're like, he seems kind of creeps, right? And so he invites her over once she's finished, and he's like, ooh, ooh," so he's trying to convince her to work for him, be exclusive for his club. You kind of feel other things would, you know, be attached to that. Although there's this blonde woman glaring at them. So you kind of feel this is gonna be a messy situation. Right, waiter comes over and he spills wine in Nora's lap, which leads to trouble, right? Which leads to trouble. Now, the thing being, the way we see Manuel handle his employees, right? Firstly, you're like, why would anyone work there? You know what I mean? And like, you might go, okay, well, I know I can do this job. I'm not going to make any mistakes in this job. But if you're kind of clumsy, you're going to be like, okay, I can't be a waiter, right? I can't do, there's certain jobs you'd be like, no, 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 no. Because if I then have a mistake, I know what's going to happen. I don't want that to happen. So let me transition to a new job, right? You would think that. Or once you do a thing, you're running, right? Because it doesn't, if you get caught, it doesn't matter because, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same. You know what I mean? Whatever happens was going to happen. So at least give yourself a chance, right? But we see this whole incident, which, like, is meant to tell us how deranged Manuel is. You know what I mean? He ain't got no limits. And then we're following Mark with his partner Phil. And they're doing a drug deal kind of situation, which, obviously it's all gonna go crazy, but they're gonna pull it out. Right. So this is in the first 5 minutes of both of these first 5 minutes of the film, but it's letting us know what we're dealing with, the kind of people we are now gonna put our feelings into for the next, I don't know what it's, I think it's like hour and 40 minutes, something like that, right? So that's what it's doing. I mean, we are seeing a lot of incompetence here. Right. Firstly, with Manuel, right, there's the expression don't shit where you eat because your place is gonna be stinky, right? You don't want flies or to be ill. And it looks like Manuel, he don't listen to that. He's taking craps all over the spot. Yeah. And then with Mark and Phil, the way they run a case, it's all over the place. It's all haphazard. You're like, yo, how do you two get shit done? Because y'all should be dead, right? But as I say, it's setting the scene. And then we're just following them, right? Mark finds out his brother's dead, so he goes to the island. And that's right, the island. Because it's not in the future, it's not in a parallel dimension. No, it's set here and now, but we never get the name of this spot, which is interesting, right? Now you get places that don't want to name a president, right? A prime minister or whatever, because they're like, it's gonna date the film. It's gonna date the TV series. So we'll just refer to them as this. Then you can watch it whenever. And you kind of get that, but not naming a place. Like the place ain't gonna change. You know what I mean? I well, I was gonna say what countries change? Yeah, I guess some do. There was the Soviet Union that disappeared, right? West and East Germany that disappeared. Yeah, there are some places. So yeah, some places will change, but it is kind of, yeah, it's a weird one because you could have just made up a name. Because the way everyone's talking about, oh, The island, like, I don't know if people would talk like that, right? Refer to it like that constantly. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, you can say the island once or twice, but come up with something else. Come up with a, you know what I mean, a nickname, a something that people can use, because you want a conversation to feel realistic. And a lot of these conversations do feel a bit hokey. But part of, like, so Mark grew up on this island and his mum's still there, right? His brother's still there, his friends are all there, and he's got an ex-wife. He's got an ex-wife there. And actually, see, Akila's the ex-wife, who is played by Michael J's actual wife, which it does explain the chemistry, which is good. They have good chemistry, you know what I mean? And also, she can kick butt too. So that works well. You can imagine, like, I don't know if you could imagine Michael J with a girl that doesn't kick butt. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's met the right woman. But in this film, you're like, why she's the ex? Like, they allude to something that happened 7 years ago. And listen, I do know those sorts of things can create chasms, right? But a real shitty reason, right? A real shitty reason to leave. And although you might kind of get it, there would need to be dialogue, right? It's not like you could leave and then you come back and be like, hi, how are you? You know what I mean? There need to be more. So the big question is, why the fuck are they exes? Did they get a divorce? Like, what's the deal with them? Right? That's never, as I say, that's never really explained. There's a few things in this that aren't really explained, right? All the things that are going down. So there is that. Then you've just got a whole heap of just odd situations. Odd situation. Like, for bad guys, these dudes are hapless, right? And then, Mark, it is like the 80s action films where, someone just, however many guns are against them, they're never going to get hit and they're always going to succeed. That's what we have here with the island. Man, like, it is this kind of throwback to the 80s. It's kind of fun, right? It's kind of fun. There's a bit at the end where you're just, yeah, you're kind of like, surely people understand their abilities, right? And then there's another bit that happens, and you're just like, there is no way like people could keep quiet, right? Right? Like, how? How? Oh man, is it like, yeah, it's amusing. It's amusing. You know what I mean? Listen, it's not groundbreaking, right? It's not gonna win awards. It's kind of fun, right? You can put it on and you don't have to think. I would say, if you are a fan of stuff like One Day as a Lion, You Can't Run Forever, Bring Him to Me, right? Good Luck Charlie. If those are the kind of films that you dig, you know, you know the ones, people, right? If they're your films, then yeah, I think the island will work for you. As I say, it's not um one of these action films where you have to think about and you're like, yo, oh my days. Man, that was smart. Like, ooh, the way they crafted these relationships is like, woo, it's not that, right? It's not one of those ones. You know what I mean? If you liked On Fire, right? If you liked The Black Flies, those are the kind of films that play to this, where it's like, it's not crazy believable, you know. Sleeping Dogs again, right? Not crazy believable. And, you know, some huge leaps have to happen for certain things to play out. But, you know, it's going to pass the time, right? It's going to pass the time, but you're not going to go back to it, right? You're not going to be, yo, I just watched this friggin' film. It was so good. You're not calling up your peoples and saying that, but you're like, all right, cool. You know, killed some time. Now let's get on with the thing. You know what I mean? That's what this is. So if you're looking for that, then The Island, that may well be for you. All right.